Everyone knows the pyramids, the pharaohs, and the gods with animal heads, but the story of Egypt's Old Kingdom is far richer than the monuments we see today. It is a saga of survival, ambition, divine power, and collapse. The Old Kingdom was the first great empire of the Nile, a civilization that rose from the desert sands and built wonders that still stand thousands of years later. Yet, despite its brilliance, it fell into chaos, leaving behind mysteries that continue to fascinate us. Long before the pyramids, the Sahara was not a desert. 10,000 years ago, it was fertile, full of vegetation and life. But as the climate shifted, the land dried, forcing people to migrate in search of water. They found salvation in the Nile, a river that would become the lifeline of Egypt. Villages grew along its banks, alliances formed, and soon two rival kingdoms emerged, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. The names confuse many because Upper Egypt lies in the higher terrain of the south, while Lower Egypt stretches across the fertile delta in the north. These two lands often clashed, but their rivalry would eventually give birth to a unified empire. Around 3100 BC, a leader named Menes, also known as Narmer, unified Upper and Lower Egypt. He became the first pharaoh, founding Memphis as the capital. Egypt was now one kingdom, ruled by a man believed to be the living embodiment of a god. Religion was the pillar of Egyptian society. The pharaoh was not just a king, he was divine. Egyptians believed in eternal life. To secure immortality, they created mummies, rituals, and tombs filled with treasures. The obsession with the afterlife would shape Egypt's greatest monuments and define its culture for centuries. Pharaoh Djoser built the first pyramid, designed by his genius vizier Imhotep. This step pyramid was unlike anything the world had seen before. Later, Pharaoh Khufu raised the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, were moved with techniques that remain a mystery even today. Were they dragged on ramps, slid on wet sand, or floated through canals? Some theories even suggest that Egyptians engineered ways to make the stones buoyant in water. The truth is still debated, and each theory adds to the fascination of these colossal structures. The pyramids were not just tombs, they were symbols of divine power, eternal life, and the unmatched ambition of the pharaohs. The Old Kingdom prospered for centuries. Agriculture flourished thanks to the Nile's floods, armies expanded, and wealth poured into Egypt. The administration was sophisticated, with viziers overseeing provinces and scribes documenting every harvest, trade, and law. Egypt became a land of abundance, where monumental architecture reflected the belief that life after death was as real as life itself. But prosperity came at a cost. Pharaohs spent fortunes on pyramids and temples, draining resources. Their megalomania, combined with the demands of religion, planted the seeds of collapse. Around 2200 BC, disaster struck. The Nile's floods weakened, harvests failed, and famine spread. Without food, the people suffered, and the pharaoh's divine authority was questioned. Local governors, nomarchs, challenged the central power, refusing to pay tribute. Egypt fractured into rival regions, each fighting for survival. Tribes from the desert invaded, adding to the chaos. The once mighty Old Kingdom crumbled, giving way to the first intermediate period, a time of division, poverty, and uncertainty. The Old Kingdom gave us the pyramids, the Sphinx, and the dream of eternal life. It showed the heights of human ambition and the fragility of power. Egypt would rise again in the Middle and New Kingdoms, but the scars of its first collapse would never be forgotten. The story of the Old Kingdom is a reminder that even the greatest empires can fall, and that monuments, no matter how eternal they seem, are built on the shifting sands of history. So, which of these mysteries impressed you the most? Don't forget to subscribe and hit like to support the channel, and turn on notifications to get alerts for new videos. See ya!